Hi there, it's Martin Godfrey here, chartered accountant, investor and entrepreneur. I just want to talk today about something a little bit different from mergers and acquisitions. It's something probably as old as the pyramids, and it's kind of been kept a secret for a long time. Those that build wealth understand it and work with it. It's not a particular asset class, it's a method of working that you really need to understand. And trust me, in my career I've come across a lot of people who don't understand aspects of this. So it's the 7 pillars of wealth wisdom. I'll just say that if you'd like to click the like button and subscribe, that will be cool, so that we can start putting out more videos of this sort. So what are the 7 pillars of wealth wisdom? I'm going to go through them one by one. The first thing is multiple streams of income. What do I mean by that? Do I mean rushing around like a madman trying to open up new businesses and run different businesses at the same time before anything is successful? No, not at all, not at all. It's well known you need to niche down, you need to focus on one thing at a time. So if you are going to invest in property, I would recommend starting to invest in property, whether it's residential, commercial, a mixture of both, or even property development, but really focus on that. But over time, let's say over a period of 10 to 15 years, the wealthy know that you don't want to be dependent upon just one stream of income. You want different streams of income. If you're a videographer, for example, do you want to remain dependent on making videos to earn a living? Or as an accountant, do you want to just depend on that? I would say no. The wealthy know that you need different sources of income, but over time. So you don't just run from one to the other. You start one, make that successful, then move on to the next. Now, the other thing, and again, I've come across this quite a lot, people who really don't understand this. This is the second of the 7 pillars of wealth wisdom. And the second thing is to understand income and expenditure flows. The flow of funds coming in and going out. Sounds very simple. And yeah, you may have done IT at school or at university. You may have studied this yourself. The simple Excel, which has been around for well over 30 years from Microsoft, will help to do this. But I've come across people who don't understand how interest works, who really don't understand the relationship between monies coming in and going out. Massively incredible, though that might appear, that is the case. So it's very simple. You need to be able to work on an Excel and see what's coming in and then see what's going out. Very, very simple, very, very basic, but it's the basis of starting to acquire wealth in whatever sphere of business or activity you're working in. The next thing, point number 3 in the 7 pillars, is debt and interest rates. And again, I repeat, I've come across folk who really don't understand interest. And this is terrible. This is really terrible. There are whole sectors of the populations in the United States, in the United Kingdom, and all around the world who are abused by lenders who are taking advantage of the fact that people don't understand interest rates. There are payday lenders who charge ridiculous rates of money. There are credit cards with ridiculous rates of interest, and so on and so forth. So you need to understand, is the debt you're getting into good debt or bad debt, in very simple terms? I would say, for example, a mortgage on a property at a reasonable rate of interest is good debt. It's helping you to acquire an income producing asset, or possibly your own home, and that is positive. Credit card debt, if used correctly, and in my book, by the way, I wrote this book a few years ago, Your Wealth Starts Here, and it's on Amazon, and I wrote it before AI came on the scene, so I did actually write it. I go into this in some depth. So using credit cards for acquiring things and then paying them off is good. Simple stuff I'm talking about, but you'd be amazed the number of people that don't get this. And even intelligent, sometimes sophisticated people really don't get this. So you need to understand the relationship between debt and interest rates. Who is charging the interest? Is it a cumulative interest rate, a simple interest rate, and so on? Now, the next thing to consider, the fourth of the 7 pillars of wealth wisdom, is understanding tax and government benefits. Now, none of us like paying tax, or most people don't, but there are a lot of government benefits out there. You do need, I would say, you need to understand the basics yourself. You do really, I would recommend, have a good accountant who understands the tax system in whatever jurisdiction you're living in, so that you get the benefit of that. Now, there's quite a lot of, well, in fact, starting, I mean, he's in the news a lot, Mr. Trump. I mean, Mr. Trump has used the government benefit system to a great extent and has had write-offs. People talk about him going bankrupt, and trust me, I'm not supporting him in any way, but people talk about him going bankrupt, but actually wasn't that. Some of his casinos he put into bankruptcy because it was the sensible thing to do at that time with that particular asset. So you need to understand, you know, are there loans that are available from the government? In the property space, for example, you can get loans and grants and finance from local authorities who will help to do up. I mean, we've had grants to replace boilers in properties, insulation, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of that available out there. So you really need to understand what's available. Don't ignore that, because that can make the difference. And I'm thinking of one particular UK entrepreneur who did extremely well in the real estate sector by taking advantage of government benefits that were there for him. The next step with the 7 pillars of wealth wisdom will be systemizing a business. Now, if you're going into business, it's very easy to simply end up, again, running around like a headless chicken, trying to do everything and not systemizing the business. All large companies, if you think of Amazon, the systems that they have, if you think in the UK of the company B&Q and other large companies, they all work on very, very tight systems in order to keep their stock low and to make sure that sales are properly logged and so on. So when starting a business or acquiring a business, do make sure that you have things in a system that enables you to control what's going on and control what employees and even what you're doing. This is very, very important. The next and penultimate of the 7 pillars of wealth wisdom is pound or euro or dollar cost averaging. What is that? Okay, whichever, let's talk about dollar cost averaging. What it means is that when you're investing in liquid assets, particularly stocks, bonds, shares and so forth, one tactic which is used a lot is to not, chunk in huge amounts of money right at the start, because if the asset goes down, you're going to lose. Okay, and if it goes up, okay, you will win. But if you want to be careful and cautious, what is done is that an amount is put into the asset on a bit like a pension. Yeah, pension is cost averaging. Yeah, so you're putting money in on let's say on a monthly basis, and if the asset goes down in value, you're evening out the loss that you may be making. If it goes up, you're also evening it out. So you're averaging out both the risk of dropping and the potential to increase. but it's called pound or dollar or euro cost averaging. So if you Google it, you'll see exactly, well, you can Google all of these and you'll see what we're talking about. And the last one is compounding. Compounding of interest. The figures are astounding. They say that Einstein considered it one of the wonders of the world. I'm not sure if that's true or not. But compounding is quite something, especially for the young ones. If you start early, over a number of years, the compounding of interest on interest will grow tremendously. And again, that can go into pension funds and so on and so forth. So compounding is very, very important. And of course, if you're borrowing money on a mortgage or on a credit card or on a loan, beware, because the financial institution will be charging you compound interest. They never charge simple interest. It's always interest on the interest, yeah? And you need to look at, all sorts of statistics to understand that. But if you do understand it from the point of view of your investing, compounding is a really, really key thing with your money. So there we are, multiple streams of income, income and expenditure flows, debt and interest rates, tax and government benefits, systemizing a business as and when you start one or own one or acquire one, pound cost averaging, dollar cost averaging, and finally compounding. So those are the 7 pillars of wealth wisdom, which I would exhort you to understand and start applying straight away. Don't live in ignorance. The people that live in ignorance, and there are millions in every country who are not aware of this stuff, they are the people who are being abused by those that do understand it. Thank you. And by the way, finally, if you like this and you want more, do click the like and subscribe.